Member for Goldstein.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and today I'd like to bring to the House's attention a wonderful visit by the Foreign Minister recently to the wonderful electorate of Goldstein. We were very fortunate that the day started with a visit with Senator James Paterson and the State Member for Caulfield, David Southwick, to Leiber Yavneh College in Elsternwick. And particularly I'd like to extend my thanks to the facilitation of Cheryl and Skews, the principal, and Rabbi Chaim Cohen, who provide a fantastic tour of the school, as well as organise a special assembly that the Foreign Minister addressed. And it was a real treat for the students to be able to hear directly from what it's like to be a Foreign Minister for the Commonwealth and what happens on a day-to-day basis. We were very fortunate that after we visited Leiber Yavneh College, that we went to Beth Weizmann Jewish Community Centre in Caulfield. And if you know, it's just outside of the electorate, Deputy Speaker, of Goldstein and the electorate of Melbourne Ports, but it's really the hub and the heartland of the Jewish community in Melbourne. It's a particularly important facility, and just to make it clear that the message that was given around security and making sure we secure it was very well received. But what we know is that there were lots of community leaders who were there on the day talking directly to the Foreign Minister, myself, David Southwick and James Paterson, amongst others, like Danny Lamb, about the challenges facing the Jewish community and the importance to support them, and that's resolute. And particularly we had the Zionism Victoria Vice President Jeff Morrison and Executive Director Jane Rapke, the Beth Weizmann Community Centre Chairman Sam Tataka, and the Jewish Community Council of Victoria Jennifer Hubbard, and Executive Director David Marlowe, who met with the Minister directly and had these important conversations. But even after that, the Foreign Minister was generous with her time in coming to the Goldstein Electorate office to talk directly to many of the young women, principals of schools, board members of local sporting clubs, school captains, school leaders and teachers from across the Goldstein community about the importance of the role of women in leadership positions. And it was such a privilege to be able to invite so many young successful women in their fields, particularly from sporting clubs and from local schools, who are making a wonderful contribution as trailblazers and leaders of their community. And a large cohort was from women's AFL teams, of which we are very fortunately the hub and focus of women's AFL in the Goldstein community. I'd like to thank particularly the women who turned up, as well as from Brighton Secondary College, and Lee Angelidis, the assistant principal from Furbank Grammar, Joe Field, and the deputy principal at Furbank, Haileybury Brighton campus's Gavin Watson, who's the deputy head of the senior school, Kilvington Grammar School, and Lauren Wade, who's the teacher who attended McKinnon Secondary School, including the principal, Pitzer Binion, who does a wonderful job, and we're very happy to have her continuing to show leadership at such an important school in the electorate. To our good friends and being one of the co-number-1 ticket holders of the Old Brighton Grammarians Footy Club, to the players that came from there, and also the club president Peter Grant, and particularly to Louise Graham, who does a wonderful job always supporting the footy club in volunteer roles. Only the other night I was down at the 60th anniversary of the club, and she was there dutifully working away while everybody else was enjoying the night. So thank you, Louise, for all the work that you do. To Sandringham College and Jennifer Howard, the head of student leadership, Star of the Sea, where we had Peter Farrer and Bernadette Turner, and they have always been very supportive and work very successfully with me. Thank you for your work, as well as the other co-number-1 ticket holder for Old Brighton Grammarians and VAFA board member Felicity Frederico, who also came along on the day. And of course to the many young women who participated as well. Minister Bishop spoke about, of course, women in leadership, and she was also presented by Peter Grant an Old Brighton Grammarians Footy Club jersey, and I haven't seen whether she's wearing it in her runs around Canberra every morning, but my hope is that she is, and she wears it with pride. But Minister, you need to understand that an invitation is coming from the Old Brighton Grammarians in the hope that you will come and speak to one of their footy matches next year, and you are always welcome in the Goldstein community. And also attending was Jennifer Herbert, a Beaumaris resident who has stage 4 breast cancer and has raised $67,000 to buy 2 scalp cooling machines for Monash Health so that women undergoing chemotherapy will not lose their hair, as well as Libby Vance, a local businesswoman who was particularly happy to come along. So to everybody who participated in the day, thank you for your participation. We're so proud of our Goldstein committee, and I'm so proud to represent